hopefully this MOU can help.
Hi guys, welcome back to Everything Thai Football Friday Night Talk, and we are back for our second episode.
I hope everyone enjoys the first episode. We put really everything, and it was exciting to get it started.
Yeah.
And right now we are on our way to the second, and hopefully many more to come.
Yeah.
Thank you for all those who subscribe and click the likes button and. We
Share
hope that
the video as well.
Yeah, and all those shares, those likes, those comments, really appreciate you building up the community. And we do hope that you continue to do so with this episodes. Let's dive into the news surrounding Thai footballs and all the topics that we're bringing you today. So what are we going to discuss today?
First and foremost, I don't think we can miss out talking about the draw of the AFC Champions League 2021 group stage. So two of our clubs already learned of their opponents in this year's competitions, and a lot of exciting matches expected to be delivered to us Thai fans, especially for BG.2 United fans and Port FC.
Yes, and it will be their first experience in the group stage competitions, although both of them have already played in the qualification process before, but neither of them were in this group, and this will be the first time playing in the group stage of the ACL with a totally different look and feel because of the revamp of the competition starting this year. So let's talk a little bit about that, right?
Yeah.
This year will be the first time that AFC will be expanding its group stage competition to 40 teams, dividing it into 20 teams in the West region and 20 teams in the East region. So it will be made up with 5 groups of 4, and there will be more ASEAN teams in the direct slot for this competition, bringing more diversity into the competition and more regional rivalry for us ASEAN countries.
Yeah. So we already know that BG will be facing a rival, I should say, rival club from Vietnam. So why not? Let's get started with Group F.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah. So in Group F, BG.2 United has been drawn with Ulsan Hyundai FC, the defending champions from last year competitions and also the runners-up from K-League.
Last year they were firing away to the champion.
They're firing away. Also with the help of Negao, the former Muangthong United striker, who helped them, really win these competitions. And unfortunately today we learned of the news that he already left the club, and we wish him all the best though.
That will be sad news for the Korean fans, but definitely good news for the BG
fans. Yeah. So and then moving on to the next club, we have Viettel from Vietnam. Apparently and expectedly, it's going to be a hard-fought rivalry match between Thailand clubs and Vietnam clubs. So a little bit on Viettel, they are the V-League champion from 2020.
And this will be the first time for them playing in the group stage. It will be an interesting matchup between the really top form team from Thailand up against the champion of the V-League. There's so much points to prove here on the quality of the teams and the football between the two countries. I think every fan will be looking forward for that match. And for these two countries, I think it will be the hope for them, to get some points and to make it forward into the competition and hopefully, move up to the round 16.
And of course, last but not least, the 4th spot team is yet to be determined. So Brisbane Roar from Australia and Kaya FC from Philippines will be going at it in the preliminary stage. And whoever wins that match will be facing Beijing FC in the playoff.
Beijing FC is the 3rd club from last year's Chinese Super League. Interestingly, they played Ulsan Hyundai, then Ulsan won the match and progressed to the semi-final and eventually won the competition. So it will be an interesting opportunity for Beijing to get their revenge and hopefully join other teams in the group and make it a more interesting one.
So of course we can't miss out talking about BG.2 United. Coming into this draw, they are the current leader of the Thai League. This year they have really invested in their squad, as we mentioned in the last episode, adding to their strength to the forward key positions to deliver goal, bringing former Buriram United and Johor striker Diego Luis Santo back to the Thai league, as well as Thailand. Probably Thailand legend Thirisu Dangda also back to the Thai league. That would be very interesting. Also having a lot of key and core player playing this year of the Thai league and carrying them to the in the ACL with the same team, having the same philosophy and pragmatic as delivered by Dusit Chadomsek.
Yes, they will have plenty of time to prepare and reinforce their matchup between the two strikers. They'll have 2 months of full action in Thai league, then right off go to the group stage of the ACL. So they will have plenty of preparation, and hopefully none of them will get injured. This is still a long way to go, but looking at the group, I would say that they might have a shot in it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I think as well.
Yeah. So let's move on to Group J, right? We have another team in the dry slot, which is the Port FC. They have been in I would say a very good form in the past 10 games. But they eventually, I think they stumbled on loss recently before the break.
So
so they were in a really good form and they played really good football. Attacking and very fast. Counter-attack football also. So let's see who is in that group, right? Group J, the first one would be Shandong Luneng, the FA Cup winner from China. And then they're up against Kichi from Hong Kong League. They're the champion as well, replacing the clubs from North Korea who didn't make it to the AFC competitions this year due to the club licensing issue. So Hong Kong replaced them in direct stock. In the playoff rounds, Melbourne will be playing Shan United. Shout out to the Myanmar fans who will for sure be supporting their team against the Australian side, but definitely it will not be easy. If either team win, they will be up against Cerezo Osaka, the 4th place from J League, and those who wins the playoff stage will be joining the Group J along Port FC. Right. Currently, the 2nd place in the Thai League season, still halfway to go, so nobody can really tell whether they can go all the way to the champion.
Because they're not that far from BG2 United, so anything can go at this moment, and still have a whole leg of the Thai League matches to be played, so that will be interesting to see.
I would say they have plenty of players, so they can manage the really hectic schedule of the 2 months in Thai League and then go on to the ACL group stage with so many players to rotate, and I think that would be one of their key strengths due to the size of the squad, and I think comparing between Group J and F, in my opinion, I think Group J could be a little bit easier for them. Shandong Luneng, although they won the FA Cup last year, but as some of the Asian football fans might have been hearing, they are implementing wage cap in the Chinese league for foreigners and local players. One of the foreign key striker of the club also left the team. So it'll be interesting of how they can improve their squad using the local players, maybe competing against the Thai club. Kichi FC is also the champion of the Hong Kong League, but comparing them against Vietel, the champion of V-League, I would say the quality might be a little bit different between the sides. And
but just to add in on Kichi, I understand that most of their players are also from the Hong Kong national team, so that may be a thing to take note of, because their players may have already played together for a long time, and that will be a plus for them to go into these competitions.
That's very useful information, so definitely you cannot look past them at the moment. And whether they I would say they might be facing Cerezo Osaka at this point, which has already been known as one of the inconsistent performance in both domestic league and the Asian stage. So this could give them a very good chance to qualify to the next round. Talking about round 16, maybe we should touch a little bit on that. So with the number of groups expanding, but the number of teams going from the group stage to round 16 still remaining in 8 teams.
Yeah.
I think the rules will be a little bit different from last year, where the group winner and the runners-up will be automatically qualifying for the round 16. But this year, the 5 group winners plus the 3 best runners-ups of the group stage will be going to the round 16. So every match will count. It will make the group stage matches to die for, and they will have to give more than 100%, to make sure that they are the group winner or they are the best runners-up among all the groups.
Yeah. So moving on to the Thai clubs playing in the playoffs, we already know that Ratchaburi will be playing against Pohang Steelers. So in the event that they win this playoff match against their K-League opponents, they'll be joining Group G alongside Jiangsu, Nagoya Grampus from Japan, and Johor Darul Taksim, the Malaysia League winner in 2020.
All right.
So a difficult task for Ratchaburi, just before they head into group stage. Then when they will need to get past Pohang Steelers. There are consistent, familiar faces in the ACL in the previous season who have a lot of experience in contrary to Ratchaburi FC, which is their first time playing the ACL. So that might be a disadvantage for our Thai clubs. But anyway, they have added so much to their squad in the past window, and we may see that come in handy when they finally go at it in the playoffs against Pohang Steelers.
That's true. In the playoff 4, Chiang Rai United will be playing Daegu FC. The fellows in Chiang Rai will be facing up their own former teammates, Lee Yong Rai. Exactly. So if they win the match, they will go into Group I, joining Kawasaki Frontale from Japan, Guangzhou from China, United City, or the former Ceres Negros from Philippines. All these 3 teams will be very, very tough to compete in the event that they go into the group.
Yeah.
Kawasaki won the J League and the Cup. Guangzhou was the runner-up, and United City was the champion of the Philippines. But before that, they will be facing Daegu, who actually finished 5th in the league. But the 4th team is a military team, so they couldn't play in the international stage due to the local law and the club licensing issue. So this will give a little bit of an advantage for Chiang Rai comparing to Ratchaburi playing in the playoffs. Let's talk about the schedule a little bit. So the group stage will start on the 21st April to 7 May in a centralized format. Right now the venues are not confirmed, and the AFC will be opening up the bidding process for the countries and clubs who will be interesting to host the competition to express their interest.
Yeah. The playoffs will be played on 14th April, and as of right now, it will be in the still regular 1 match off.
Yep.
However, we still don't know yet that if the AFC will be changing the format into a centralized location for these matches due to the current COVID situation as well as the travel restriction in certain countries.
Yep, exactly. So more news to follow on the playoff stage and the group stage. It will be interesting of the squads that the Thai clubs will be submitting for the competition. Like I said, they have plenty of players. There will be plenty of games happening before the actual competitions begin, and it will be interesting of how they're gonna manage a Thai league schedule, and then with the ACL coming afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's it for the first topic that we want to discuss for today.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so that was the first part of today's episode. I think we captured so many angles and so many information about the Asian Football Champions League happening in April. And I think it's now the time for the second part of this show.
Yeah. So in the second part of this show, we'll be discussing the much anticipated return of the Thai League, starting off with the pending match between Chiang Rai United and Port FC to be played on 31st January 2021 at Sing Stadium. As the fans have been missing Thai football for so long, this is an opportunity for us to really come back and dive into Thai football after a month long without football.
Yep, it was a whole month without any Thai football action. The stop came during the mid-season and things were roiling, things were heating up between the teams, and unfortunately because of the COVID-19 situation in the beginning of the year, it couldn't allow the teams to continue playing the matches. But right now things are better. Football is coming back, and I think every fans will have been waiting eagerly for the league to come back, and now I think we are 2 days apart from it. But it will come back. I think we could agree that it will be a new normal for the Thai league as well, without fans in the stands, and it will be up to the government to really realize how long will the match be played behind closed doors. But that is an unfortunate point. There will be no fans in the stadium for now, and obviously there are other things that teams need to prepare in order to play the matches.
So as part of the protocol set about by the COVID Command Center, or SOMOCO in Thai, also as we have mentioned last week, when the games finally return, when the league finally returns, it will be played in accordance as the protocol set out by the COVID Command Center. So today, both Chiang Rai United and Port FC respectively had their COVID-19 test done at the local hospital and at the public health certified clinics.
Hopefully all the players and staff will be safe, and the official results will be shared by the clubs and the league when it comes out. And I think on top of those safety protocols, the match and the league will be coming in a very packed schedule, playing back-to-back matches from starting this Sunday until the last week of March. So, 2 full months with football happening almost every day on Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So actually, there will be only 2 days in the week that you will not be able to watch Thai football.
So I think as we said in the last video as well, this will serve the Thai football fanatics fan, right?
And obviously when this schedule that is so packed, the clubs and the FA Thailand Exco also decided that it makes sense to introduce the 5 substitution rules in Thai League 1, Thai League 2 and the FA Cup, starting with this match on Sunday.
So without any further ado, we will dive into the details and things that you would want to know heading into this match between Chiang Rai and Port FC. So first up, with the current position of Chiang Rai, they are currently 5th on the Thai League table with 26 points, and Port FC are currently 2nd with 34 points and 10 points behind the leader EP.2 United. However, Port FC have a game in hand.
So if Port manage to win this game, they will be closing down the gap between them and the first team right now to only 7 points, and with another half of the season to go, I think anything can happen, and I think both teams will be trying so hard to grab the win. And also it was the match that pending from the first leg. So this was a very long overdue clash between the 2 top clubs from Thailand. One, the defending champion from last year, and the other was also the winner of the FA Cup. So I think this will be a very, very exciting game. Both teams, no injuries right now, and they really did invest in the mid-season transfer window. We can do a little bit recap on that, starting from Chiang Rai. The new players are Brazilian striker and forward Felipe Amorim from Hungary FC, and the other foreign players is Cho Ji-hun from Gangwon FC, replacing
the now Daegu midfielder Ri Yong Ra.
So he'll be replacing his former Korean teammates in Chiang Rai, and the other one joining Chiang Rai is Wasan Homsan, the right back from Hungary FC as well. So these are the 3 key players from Chiang Rai during the mid-season window. What about Port FC?
Port FC, obviously they have brought in a big gun from Ratchaburi FC with the likes of Yannick Boli, who has 8 goals in his pocket this season in the Thai leagues, and he will be added up to this massive squad of Port FC, and bringing in his strength and his goal scoring power
Yes.
For Port FC to be used in the Thai league of the second leg. Yeah.
And let's keep in mind that both teams had the full month to prepare for the game, so they had months of training, of preparation, and there will be no injuries. So both teams are in full capacity and will be going at it in full strength. So let's talk about the history between the two teams. Since the past 2 seasons, Chiang Rai United has been playing Port FC in their home. They have never lost a game to Port, and Port has never scored a single goal at the Sing Stadium for the past 2 seasons. So I think Port will be eyeing to break the curse and look for their first goal in the stadium up north. While hopefully, I think Chiang Rai will be really trying to maintain the clean sheet at home against Port, and it will be interesting to see how Port will be utilizing the big guns, like we said, and going at it with Yannick Boli and Soares and Anissa Carson, who's been in a good form recently.
As well as Nelson Bonilla.
So these 4 strikers, I think, will be giving so much headache for the Chiang Rai United defenders. So Chiang Rai United also has, I think, lost some of their strikers as well. Right? So these are the big guns from Port up against the Chiang Rai United defenders, and it'll be interesting of how Chiang Rai United will be utilizing their strikers against the visiting team from Bangkok. So we've heard that Jaja Filjo left the club.
We understand that Jaja has left the club after his contract had expired at the end of last year. And he's probably played his last match with Chiang Rai during the journey in the ACL2021 last year.
So it was a short and quiet stint for the Brazilian man, and his second time in the Thai league. We wish him all the best for his onwards adventure in the football world. And but right now, I think Biro Sima will have to start and build his relationship with the other Brazilian striker Felipe Amorim, who played well with Hungary FC, but I wouldn't say that he stood up so much. This will be his chance to prove his quality. Gearing up with Biro Sima, a huge man and really amazing physique, and with his size, he shouldn't be able to run that fast and be in so many positions, but he can. And with Felipe Amorim, a quick guy, very good at dribbling and creating chances. So I think these two guys will be something to look out for.
Exactly. And also, in addition to that, with Felipe Amorim coming in, it'll be interesting to see how he works with Egani Panya, the Thai wonder kid. A lot of potential, and missed out earlier part of the season due to injury, but now he's back, performed well in the AFC Champions League last year. So we are excited to see Egani is back in action, and hopefully he's gonna pick up his performance from AFC Champions League and carry on in this match and second legs onwards.
So just for a reminder, the match will be happening this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. live via NBT channel. If you're watching it through the free TV channels, just click the number 2 button. It will be there with the full HD quality. But if you're looking through your mobile, you can visit the Chiang Rai United Facebook page and their YouTube channel. They'll be also showing the match live on the social media platform. So I think that's about it for the Thai League restart. And it'll be very interesting to see how the league will be coming back, and I believe all fans who have been waiting for a month for this. But apart from that match, we also have the FA Cup upcoming on Wednesday. So you guys can follow more information on the Thai League website and also our Facebook page. We will be giving you the latest information on the fixtures and how you can follow it, and we will be covering it on the next episode, where we'll be giving our capturing of the results from the midweek matches. That's the wrap for the second part of the episode, and now we will move on to a little bit lighter part of the show. Let's maybe recap on the work that the FA has done during the past weeks. The interesting one, what is the latest update? So maybe Pote, you can share a little bit on the news.
Interestingly, this week we have big appointment coming up from the FA with the association appointing the new Thailand Women National Team head coach in Miss Miyo Okamoto from Japan. She holds a vast experience, and she works in a lot of years with JFA and obviously the Japan Football Associations. Her CV came highly recommended from JFA, as this appointment came about by the MOU between FA Thailand and JFA, and they have dispatched their coach to us in order to help us achieve our goals, of which the FA has set the goals that they want to qualify to the Women's World Cup, and having this year competition that is coming up, the AFC Women's Asian Cup qualifiers, the SEA Games. So there are certain goals that we want to achieve, and Miss Mio appointment could really help us deliver that.
So the new head coach of the women's team comes from Japan.
Yes.
And we can safely say that she brings about best qualities in the Japanese football, especially with the women's game so developed there. The performance of the national team, the league is very well organized. So I think we can learn a little bit or two from her. I hope we can learn side by side, work together with the men's national team head coach, Mr. Akira Nishino, who was also the JFA technical director, and then I would say he was the teachers of so many coaches in Japan. And with her being here, this shows a great relationship that the FA Thailand has with the Japan FA. And we will continue to grow the game here, both in the women's game and the men's game. So apart from the appointment of the women's national team head coach, it was recently announced that the FA Thailand has signed the MOU with the UAE FA.
The Football Association of Thailand signed the Memorandum of Understanding with United Arab Emirates Football Association, exploring areas, in technical aspect, and eyeing and aiming for the exchange of technical expertise, as well as in the area of infrastructures, because UAE, obviously in 2019 they hosted the very successful edition of the Asian Cups, and as Thailand we are looking to develop our infrastructure with their being plans, to have a new stadium, the new national training center. So that was one of the key areas that we focused on and worked on this MOU. And apart from that, in other areas there are exchanging of instructors, so we might have UAE accredited coaching instructor come to host the coaching courses in Thailand, as well as exchanging informations and experience on VR implementations, referees academy, and so on and so forth. So this is very exciting to see for Thai football, especially for at this moment. We have two big MOU in the west, the United Arab Emirates, and from the east we have JFA. So we have that partnership that will really elevate Thai football and really raise our standard, and put that could emphasize our game in so many aspects apart from things that are going on the field.
So definitely Thailand has a close relationship with UAE, and they're in the same group in the World Cup qualifiers, and they came here many times participating in the King's Cup and the other qualification or ACL tournaments. They were here recently in the Under-23 Championship, and let's hope they'll be here again in the centralized venue in Thailand. So please keep an eye on it, and we hope that we might get the chance to host the games in June. So hopefully this MOU can help. I don't think it's aiming at that point. So I think that's it for today's show, and we thank you so much for joining us for the second episode. And we'll be seeing you guys again on next Friday. So we'll be capturing the results and action from the FA Cup games on Wednesday, and looking forward for the full action of the Thai League games happening on the next Saturday and Sunday.
Exactly. So just before we leave, thank you once again for following us, and sharing, liking, commenting on our previous video, and staying tuned with our content both in all the platforms, and we hope you enjoy this video. And like we said in the last video, if there's any topic that you want to discuss on our next episode, just let us know in the comments below, and we will get back to you with all the contents that you need to know. And that's it for us today.
Yep. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like.
Yeah. See you next Friday. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.